They're looking down and out.
Yeah. How's your world? I love that. Well, thank you for starting this dialogue today. Yeah, you gave us a really nice early kickoff for Mental Health Month, and I hope your world stays pretty even keel this week, and if it doesn't, we'll be here. So reach out, connect with Bob anytime. Now, church is not a substitute for good medicine. Hear me clearly on that. But I asked Bob about it because as I reflect on the passage from Acts, which Glenn read, this passage comes from after Pentecost, when the Christ-following body was just coming alive and was growing by leaps and bounds. There's a real contrast between the conditions described there and the condition of slavery and its forced suffering that occurs in Peter. Later in the book of Acts, we'll actually see some of the apostles get thrown in prison because they have disrupted rather than accepted the slave system of the time. They have refused to just accept that it has to be so. And look at the alternative sort of community that we hear about in Acts 2. They're taking turns, eating at each other's house. It's like a movable feast. They're praying, they're singing together. They have leisure time and spiritual time. They're not giving until it hurts. They're giving with glad and generous hearts. There's so much joy there, and there's this ever-expanding circle of goodwill. Others recognize them as the joyful folks because they can both laugh and cry together. Acts describes the social conditions they've set up that contribute to that. They're not stridently divided into classes of slave and free anymore. No one has massive excess. Everyone has enough. And there's a high level of trust. One thing that prevents some people from getting good medicine that could help them is an inability to trust a system corrupted by selfish aims, like making excessive amounts of money. We all know about drug companies and pain medications and how that caused thousands and thousands of deaths. That new crisis is an expansion of an earlier profit-driven over-marketing of Valium with some of the same players, including the Sackler family, at the center of both of these murderous scandals. Each scheme preyed on vulnerable populations rather than addressing the deeper sources of human suffering, such as sexism and racism and endemic poverty. In contrast, the Acts community is one in which there's a high level of transparency and trust, and that leads to more wellness, including all people being able to trust doctors and other experts more. The church should always model healthy community in which people have enough and there's high integrity. People walk their talk, live their values. In general, what there's a lot of in the Acts scenario is the choice not to suffer but to thrive. The poorest and most vulnerable are not the ones asked to sacrifice. And even those who are selling what they have to support the whole don't really seem to feel like they are sacrificing anything really important. In fact, they seem to feel like they are gaining a lot of freedom and happiness by being less selfish. These are not crucifixion people. These are resurrection people. And in a low stress, high connection situation like that, even those whose brains are wired to be deeper or darker than others can more easily thrive. May our young church be like the Acts 2 church, a place that makes people more well, so that wellness instead of illness becomes contagious. And you may open your arms to receive this. May you go out in joy and be led forth in peace. May the hills, the trees, break forth in song before you. Go forth in love, in joy, in hopefulness, in peace. Amen.